Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and a few people have asked me, but I saw someone ask me just a few minutes ago under the video comments from the video I did today of me setting a PR on my closed grip pause presses. And I'll link that video here, I'll link it down below, and I will link the tutorials for you guys again of both the flat bench and the closed grip bench press here and down below also, because I have detailed tutorials on how to perform those in the exercise how-to playlist. Now they're asking that, and then what they're asking me is, why am I pressing in an arc instead of a straight line? Because as people always say, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and therefore you should be the strongest in that straight line because you're moving the shortest distance, and that's simply not true when it comes to the raw bench press, because you're dealing with a big multi-joint movement that's part of a ball and socket joint, and that's actually not true. Now that is a very popular myth on the bench press, due to some of the best equipped bench pressers in the world discussing that, who do shirted benches. But the overwhelming majority of people who lift weights to get bigger and stronger athletes, and even over half of competitive powerlifters, don't wear a bench shirt. We're raw, which means we don't use any sort of equipment to help us add an extra 50, 100, 200 pounds to our bench press through leverages out of the bottom. And their bar path and their technique is completely different, and they're unrelated. You're training two different animals at that point. And accordingly, you need to realize that for both maximal muscle development, strength, and shoulder joint safety, you need a curve in it. And let me show you the difference. You'll notice if I'm down here at the bottom, in order to get the bar to go in a straight line, what do you see happening? I'm flared at the bottom. Even if I'm down low where I need to be, I'm flared at the bottom. That puts stress that you do not want on the rotator cuff. And not only the stress at the bottom that can damage your rotator cuff, but you're not even using the joint in the correct manner and through its best function. So you're not even activating the most muscle fibers. So not only are you going to be forced to lift a lighter weight and recruit less muscle fibers, which isn't good for growth, you're going to potentially damage your rotator cuffs over time. And if I bring it in, as I've shown you guys in the videos, that screw type motion to where you're like this, you notice the elbows pop out at the top to lock it out, but I'm flared at the bottom and I'm down below the nipple line. Watch what happens. Let me try to do it in slow motion for you. Notice there's an arc. And I don't come up here, but there is a definite noticeable arc. And when you watch me press, you'll notice that. And it has to do with it. If you look, the shoulder joint has an arc to it naturally. It's a ball joint. And even when you activate the chest at the bottom, get the most stretch on the chest, it's going to be a natural arc to it because of the nature of the joint itself. And so for safety purposes, you need to do that. I mean, it doesn't need to be an exaggerated arc. Let your natural arc find itself. And what I would tell a lot of guys, if you want to find the best lockout, get you an empty bar and do this with it while you're laying on the bench, unracked, completely locked out. And the point where it feels the lightest is probably where you're the strongest on your lockout. And so wherever that point happens to be, let's say it's right here, and you know that you need a bench to an inch or two below the nipple line, so you come down and you go back to that point where you're the strongest. And that will give you the natural arc that you want for the best strength curve. And it's probably going to be the arc that puts the less stress on your rotator cuff. So it's going to be safer for your shoulder health in the long term. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go. Oh.